this week's show, we're discussing Bethesda revealing their entire future roadmap for the years to come, Black Flag bringing the booty home for Ubisoft, and a Resident Evil 1 remake is, maybe, finally coming. All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly gaming show, the GamerGuild Podcast, where we get together to round up all of the week's video game news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and available up there in the digital clouds on your podcast platform of choice. Just search for the GamerGuild Podcast and you'll find us here every Monday, 8 a.m. when this show goes live. Your players for the week are myself, Chris, at Arcane Rogue, and the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you too.
And I say
good listening.
And I say good morning because we have a busy day scheduled ahead of us, Richie. We're off to a retro gaming market, yourself, myself, and Tom, who may make an appearance because he's driving us halfway there. He might just rock up at the end of this show. So it will be a little bit shorter this week because we are on a tight schedule.
It's unlikely because he'd have to break into my house, but
I mean,
the doorbell may go off. If the doorbell go off during the podcast, that's probably Tom.
Or an Amazon delivery guy. But no, I believe Tom's capable of great things, especially breaking and entering. It may be his past life, But we do have a great show lined up for you all this week, as I mentioned. So before we get into all that, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring a ding that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the great content we do here on the channel. Like this very show, like our weekly live streams, like our PlayStation Retro Hunts, where Richie, this week, we've got a bit of a special one for our audience out there. As we go on the PlayStation Retro Hunt and go to a retro gaming market this fine Sunday and dig out some nostalgia. I'm going to put a special video up for the viewers, and it's been a long time coming, this one, so I'll tease it. But yeah, it's one that I was on the hunt for. For those who don't know, PlayStation Retro Hunt is where I go back and try and find an old game on eBay for the collection. I literally go back in time. I get in my little time machine here, crank it, and then it takes me all the way back to 1990s, 1997 this week in particular. So our members will get that a little bit early too. But a really good one that I almost got about 3 odd months ago, and I failed at the bid. I did an actual live auction bid. Failed at the bid and kind of came round second wind to get it. So the video's kind of spliced, made up of like me recording it 3 months ago, failing, me getting it in the end, and then unboxing it several weeks later when it's delivered. And then I'm wearing a few different t-shirts.
You kept the original attempt in. Yeah,
kept it in because it's one of them where I kind of.
Authentic,
It's our genuine love for video games that brings it together. But no, it's there. It'll up to see, and I hope you enjoy it. But Richie, I guess we should acknowledge, because we've been supporting it for the last 6 weeks, it feels like, the England game. We said we haven't spoke about much football on here because we know not everyone who listens or views is a football fan. However, it's rounded up, it's finished. I think we should just acknowledge the grit and determination that the boys showed through the tournament. Didn't quite get there. I'm not going to lament the last 10 minutes against Argentina. Last night's game was an absolute whirlwind.
30 minutes against Argentina.
Yeah, the last game, we finished third. We finished the highest place we have since '66 in a World Cup. So you know what? I'll take it. We go again. As all football matches, it's decided unfortunately within the match itself. So you could play 95% fantastic football, as France did, and then still somehow lose 2 games and go out in the quarterfinals. So it just shows you anything can happen on the day. 11 men against 11 men. But we've got the Euros 2028 back on home soil in the UK. So it's across all the countries.
A lot of good stuff from England this tournament. A lot of good stuff. One probably real major negative, and unfortunately that's what
cost us
when we went out. But overall, I think a lot of the criticism the team's getting in Thomas Tuchel is a bit unwarranted.
Yeah,
he made a mistake. He cocked up the game we went out.
Yeah,
but what manager hasn't cocked up one game?
And unlike video games, you can't go back and load another save file and try it with different tactics. Because we've all played FIFA and done that.
Football Manager, guys, you're not reloading your save because you lost.
Yeah, we've all done that. We've all turned our consoles off on the 98th minute or whatever when we've not quite got the result we want in a cup game or whatever. We can't do that.
One of them moments in FIFA where it feels like the computer, you've won too many games in a row, so the computer goes, no, you need to lose a game, so I'm going to come up with some bullshit at the end just to
That's video games. That's life.
Suddenly you send it back because sprinting up the pitch while they're on the edge of your box.
Yeah, but this time we came up against Argentina, and thankfully they can't play in the Euros, so there's kind of another win there, I guess. And we go again. I think Bellingham.
Arguing half the team shouldn't play in the World Cup final. So
true, but yeah, Bellingham. I think we build around him as a future captain, absolutely, and then just kind of try and do what we did against France last night. But I'll take it, third place. But we'll get back to games now, shall we? Although arguably football is the beautiful game. It's the best one in the world. It would, if you got the chance, Richie.
Good graphics.
Great graphics in some regard. It's one of those, if someone asked me, would you get rid of football or gaming? I think that would be a very hard sway to take, like your entire life. Not necessarily just playing it, because obviously we all age out of playing it someday, but the ability to watch it and participate in it.
I think it would be fairly easy for me because I don't watch as much football as I can because I think it's overpriced. Like, I think they really pay you getting involved in the sport. So unless you have things like Sky Sports, which is ludicrously priced compared to other streaming services, I refuse to pay it, and loads of time to actually watch games. Gaming is something you can fit in when you want it. So I feel like my choice will be clear.
Interesting. Well, let us know in the comments below, everyone. Is it football, if you're a big football fan, or is it gaming? Remember, you've got to factor in everything here.
Would be quite skewed.
You've got to factor in things like age, though. Like when you're 60, 70, which one are you going to enjoy more? Which one, if you're still capable of playing right now, which one would you prefer to play? Because you won't be able to do that anymore. No Monday Night Football for us, Richie.
That's why if I decide now, I'd go for football because I can still play it. If I had to go for the next 5 years, you can only do one.
Yep.
It's like, right, why I'm still able, I'm going to pick the one that I won't be able to do later in life.
And I guess that football includes playing FC 26, 27, 28, 29, 29, 30. No more football games either. That counts. So there's like a double knock-on effect. I'm putting extra rules out there for this fictional thing that's out there. But Richie, we've been playing some games this past week as well. I'm still chipping away at that damn Sackboy trial thing. I don't want to put it down because of the muscle memory. I checked the other day, and I've put nearly 50 hours into Sackboy: A Big Adventure now.
That's bad.
And most of it, I think, is that bit at the end. But I'm getting quite accustomed to like the deeper part of the trial. You know, when I said you die, so I've got the opening 2-3 minutes absolutely nailed. I could do it with my eyes shut. But then it gets to those parts that I've not seen enough of, I've not been exposed to, that I keep like falling short these little bits. And I was like, in the back of my mind, I know I can do it because I think I've done the hard part. I can get through the hard part. It is just that composure near the end where you get like one hit and you're pretty much out. So it's kind of getting there, but I don't want to ditch it for other games right now because I know I'll lose all the muscle memory.
On that note, do you sometimes find that when like developers are coming up with the list of trophies, they sometimes forget that games are still meant to be fun, even though if they want to put a challenge in there? Because I know there's a few games recently I've played or seen my partner play where it's like, it feels like there's like always one or two just bullshit trophies in there. Mm-hmm. Metal Gear Solid Delta, the Foxhound trophy is stupid. Like, fair enough if people want to try that as a challenge. Tying it to the platinum is just stupid though. Like, anything that has difficulty base, because that's what I will stand my ground on because of accessibility reasons. If you are not physically able to be good enough to play on a harder difficulty, why should you be penalised?
Yeah, I agree.
Or if you don't have the time or patience, like I don't, to absolutely get phenomenal at every game you play, because there's more to life than one game. It feels like I don't want to play the game again on a high difficulty. I'm looking at you, Final Fantasy, Pragmata. But I cannot hear a word you're saying.
The PlayStation 4 generation got it the best, I feel like, with their exclusives when they really kind of locked in and honed in on. You finish the campaign, there's collectibles to do, there's maybe one or two like unique things that you need to do, like stop a certain person or do a certain thing 5 times, but nothing
if there's like
arduous.
Mini games or something, it's usually an introduction trophy to the mini game to let you know it's there, to give it a go. So if you're then interested. But yeah, I think like Final Fantasy is the worst because sometimes they're 100+ hour games to get through the story the first time and then go, oh yeah, now you need to do it again on a harder difficulty. It's like, but why? Yeah,
to what end? To what end? Other than kill time and I guess crit value, it's a weird one. But I'll chip away at it. I do believe I can get it. It's just going to be like it's just one of them random ones where you're just going to randomly do it and it's not going to feel real, because I've done it so many times now. I'm kind of like, oh my god, I've actually reached the end. But it's a weird time trial, and I've not explained it yet. But you're so supposed to do it in under sub 10 minutes for the trophy. However, it can take you longer. But the end of the mission, you collect loads of bubbles, like little time watch clocks that reduce your time. So I could actually get to the last sprint of the whole trial. And you get on a platform and you use the gyroscope and the controller to move the platform around, and you could collect loads of clocks to reduce your time. So even when I get near the end and it might say like 11 minutes, I'm not quite out yet because I could collect all the time clocks to reduce it to sub 10 still. So it's a whole weird thing, but maybe next time. And then on the flip side of that, I've been playing Aphelion, which is from Don't Nod. There's a first look up on the channel now. That was our weekly live stream this past week. And the reason I wanted to mention it weirdly is because I pre-ordered it through Amazon on PS5, and it finally arrived on Wednesday or Thursday this past week. And I recorded the first look, and I spoke about it. And then I realised after the fact, this game came out in April. Yep. So I don't understand how my pre-order came so late. And either I didn't realise, or I'm sat there playing it thinking it's a brand new release, and it came out fucking months ago. And either the marketing was so bad, as someone who was interested in the game and pre-ordered the game, I didn't even see anything about its launch, which kind of makes me a little bit worried for Don't Nod, if I'm honest, because they did Lost Records, which did poor. They did Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, which is why I pre-ordered this to support the team, because I thought this would take a lot of DNA from Banishers, because it's third person, it's story, and you can kind of see that DNA in there. But yeah, I played the first hour, really enjoyed it, but I was kind of like caught aback when it's been out since April. So it is a first look, weird. But it's not a new one.
It's definitely out in April and wasn't delayed. Yeah, released it 28th of April.
Yeah.
So to be honest, if I was you, I'd complain to Amazon about that. Because
can't bother.
If you pre-order a game, you expect it on the day of release.
Yeah, but I feel like complaining 4 months after the fact's a bit lost to me. But either way,
if it's just turned up, it isn't.
To focus on the game, visually looks really good, stunning vistas. Basically, you're on kind of like a 2-man crew thing to find a source of power that's potentially going to be a new place for humanity to live. And shit happens. There's like electromagnetic pulses crash the ship, and you try and find your fellow cabin crew member, colleague, I guess, and then something's not quite right on the planet's surface. There's something going on. Is it aliens? Is it AI? Is it something else sci-fi related? Is it Planet of the Apes time machine? I don't know yet. I'm about probably a third of the way through the game, but quite simple, quite minimalistic, bit of traversal, bit of puzzles, bit of dialogue back and forth, and yeah, fun so far. I think I'm definitely going to go for the platinum because it's quite easy in terms of a couple of audio books. It's quite a linear game. You're not really going off the beaten path. It's not open world. There's a few glitchy things, which I think is just down to Don't Nod, I think, probably rushing to get this out. Ironically, even though I got it later, it seems like one of them where, unlike Banishers, which I felt like was a very detailed, meticulous, great story and character and lots of threads to pull on, this definitely feels like a lot more of a smaller scope linear game with like a very definitive like start, middle, end story, done and out in probably 8 hours. I think you can get the platinum in 10. So it's not a lengthy game, which is why I'm quite enjoying it, and I'm not expecting it to go on for ages and ages and ages. But yeah, enjoyed it so far. I've got it on physical copy as well. And as I said, if you want to explore the first hour, it's up on the channel right now, so go check that out.
That's good.
How about yourself, really quickly?
Pragmata. I am near the end of the story. I think I've probably got about an hour or two left of story, if that. Then some side content, and then I'm going to try a hard mode playthrough because I've only got 1 week before I go on holiday. So I don't really want to start anything new till I get back from holiday.
Which holiday is this one?
Benidorm. Going to Benidorm.
Pragmata, yeah. I'm expecting the difficulty. I've heard it's quite similar to Resident Evil Requiem's, where when you say play it on hard, it seems crazy, but then actually, similar to Resident Evil, and you can cut out a lot of the game by just getting on with it, I guess.
The problem with Pragmata's hard mode playthrough is, although they use New Game Plus, you can't play hard mode on New Game Plus. So you have to start again, which means leveling up all your equipment and your health.
Oh, really?
And stuff again. Yeah. So it's like, well, that's the bit that is kind of really bullshit in this game. I think.
That's what makes it fun.
From square one. Yeah, but that's what it's like, well, I'm not interested. Personally, I don't want to play through hard mode. I'm only doing it because I would like that platinum trophy. Because I don't see the point in forcing me to replay the game again at a difficulty that I chose not to play at.
That's quite an odd choice.
But you can't play on hard mode till you finish the story anyway.
Yeah, so you're kind of stuck anyway.
So it's like, but games have been doing this more and more recently. And I do think it is bullshit. I honestly think it's the Soulsborne impact of like where games are now getting like leaning towards being harder because that's what's currently in. But it's like not every game. But as me and my partner have discussed loads of times, like why don't they just put the hard mode in a DLC trophy?
Yeah, if you want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's not a necessity.
But
yeah, that is surprising because Requiem does that where you finish the game and you can do it all again, but you get all of the upgraded guns. So like I started with Leon with like a bazooka and unlimited Requiem ammo. So I was like, come at me, bad guys, because I just blow your face off.
But my partner, she said she tried on hard mode, got a few hours in and went, nah, cannot be bothered with this. So I'm not expecting, but I am going to persevere just because I have that 1 week window.
Yeah.
With nothing else.
Why start something else? Yeah, you can come do Sackboy Big Adventure for me if you want.
No thanks.
give it a grind. Is it as good as you'd thought then? Pragmata?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Is the little girl in it as cute as everyone makes out, and the internet's absolutely in love with her?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, interesting. I think Pragmata is one that I do need to get to this year because it sounds like it's going to be in a lot of Game of the Year conversation.
Like the hacking while in combat is actually really fun.
Right, good stuff.
It's a good fun action game.
Fantastic.
It's quite nice and linear, but then you can go back to your shelter pretty much whenever you want. When you find like there's a few fast travel locations throughout the world. Frustratingly, you can't fast travel between them. You can only fast travel back to your shelter, which is your main hub, where you can change out your loadout, upgrade, do all the upgrades and stuff. There's some training sims in there, which are there as a challenge. So this is one of the reasons why you've already got the challenge in there from the training sims. Why do you need hard mode as well? But
it's trying to stretch it out.
Other than that need of hard mode, it's 100% you should play it.
Right. Good stuff.
I don't know if it's on my list as a potential Game of the Year candidate for myself.
Oh, wow. Well,
it's hard to know because like 007, Pragmata, currently there.
Good year though. Good year for games so far. Even though the hardware manufacturers trying to fuck us over left, right, and centre, the game devs are doing their own. They're holding up.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Richie, we do have a busy show. We've got a short, busy show actually, but we've got plenty of news to talk about. So, if you could introduce us to the
graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, aka the news.
The news. And as always, the news is brought to you. Not bought. I guess it is bought to you as well because they do pay a subscription. But it's brought to you by our Gamer Guild heroes, the fantastic members of the channel who support us that extra little bit further, just like you can, from as little as 99p. You get early access to certain content, and you get stickers and badges next to your name in any live chats, and you get our undying love and support. I do want to point out as well to members, we did get a notification, I don't know if you saw it, about YouTube memberships going up across kind of the globe. I know we joked a while about inflation and stuff, but we did actually get a direct message through YouTube Premium to go in and tweak inflation rates. Certain countries it's automatic, certain countries it's optional. I just want all of our Gamer Guild heroes to know that I kept all of our prices locked in at what their current tier lists are. So 99 pence, £1.99, £2.99. I think they're pretty much all the same. But they could have went up to some random crappy amount like £2.27. And that would have annoyed me more than actually the cost of benefit to us in terms of profit.
We're not trying to actually make money out of you. The money that you're paying is to keep the channel running. We actually don't take money out.
We don't. We've occasionally used it to buy some merch, I think, in the past when we've wanted something. Like visually to show off.
Gaming market.
Or tickets to a gaming market to sponsor
Chris's
Retro Hunt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all a big thing. But of course, yes, this is a hobby. We couldn't do without you. As we do approach the 161 episode mark, which is only a few weeks away, which will mean we've then eclipsed our Stadia podcast, which seems wild to say out loud, but we'll celebrate when we get there. We'll go play some Stadia games. Oh no, we can't, can we? Because physical media. But I digress. Richie, story number one for this week. Bethesda, after all of the uncertainty, all of the harsh seas that Xbox Game Studios and the wider Microsoft and just the industry in general have kind of stormed the last couple of weeks. I guess we kind of have some good. This is quite a good news show. It's a shorter show, but it's a good news show. And the fact that Bethesda Bethesda Game Studios, with a full blog post essentially noting the future of the industry. So we'll go through it bit by bit. It's broken down quite well, actually. It doesn't have as many crazy buzzwords that Asher Sharma's traditionally posts have. This is from Bethesda directly.
Yeah, because it's not from Asher Sharma.
Probably, yeah. It's not been run through AI systems. It's been wrote by a human. But let's get into the detail of what their future roadmap and their games library looks like. So to start off with then, and I read, a note from Bethesda Game Studios. We love making these worlds as much as you love playing in them. Today we wanted to share with you what's next for Bethesda Game Studios and what you can expect from us in the years ahead. For 40 years, we've built games that have entertained almost 500 million players. More than just games, these are worlds for you to explore, shape and make your own, worlds we return to together. That's what's driving us forward. We're investing more deeply in the worlds players love, giving creators a bigger role in shaping their experiences and bringing our teams closer together so we can get our games into your hands sooner. Support them for longer and continue building them alongside you for decades to come. So they start off with Starfield continues. With over 17 million players logging almost 1 billion hours to date, Starfield remains an important part of our future. As we enter year 3, we'll continue expanding these settled systems with new stories, targeted gameplay improvements, and additional updates while preparing for the launch of new Starbound content next year. More than 40% of players already customize their experience through creations, and we'll continue investing in creators and giving players new ways to make Starfield their own. So we'll pause, I think, and start there, I guess, is the best way to do it, Richie. And we'll take it kind of paragraph by paragraph. Are you surprised that Starfield gets to live on? It gets a year 3. It seems like they want a position from that initial opening of that post is all of their games are now basically it. I wouldn't expect any new IP from Bethesda anytime soon. It reads as though we've got these worlds. Well, let's commit.
I want to quickly touch on the fact that of the nature of this announcement, because I think this is Asher Sharma pushing twisting Todd's arm. Yeah. It's like, if you don't announce more games in these franchises, we will take them off you. I think me reading between the lines of why this is happening now is Xbox are getting shit on. They need some good news stories. Yeah. Let's give them what they want. People cry out for Fallout 3. People cry out for New Vegas. If you want to keep having some more autonomy and be able to work on Starfield, you need to start producing, because Bethesda typically have been against remakes and remasters. Oblivion was a surprise, put it that way. But anyway, yeah, going back to Starfield, no, because I think Bethesda truly do believe in it. And I think it has come a long way since we played it on Stadia. Did we play the Stadia?
No, Game Pass.
Yeah, since it's come a long way since its initial launch. And I think that they're looking at it as goes, you know what? As long as we've got a stable player base, this could have similar legs to something like a Fallout or Elder Scrolls. And over time, while they cocked up the launch, over time it may suddenly, like Fallout 4, people didn't like Fallout 4 on launch. But now it's beloved. I think they understand that curve as they patch the game, as they improve systems, as they keep working on it post-launch. It could be something that it becomes a beloved franchise, becomes that third tentpole that they were looking for alongside Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
Yeah, there's kind of, when I look at Bethesda Studios, they kind of have a game that almost like sits in every genre. You've got your fantasy, you've got your sci-fi, you've got your, I guess, what would you class Fallout as like?
Yeah.
I guess contemporary in terms of like, I know it's a couple years after like a nuclear fallout, but it's like you've got like far future, you've got fantasy, I guess, in the past, then you've got the kind of the time zone that we can all relate to a little bit more with like just nuclear fallout, even though it's kind of set in the old timey-wimey past. You know what I mean? It's as nearest to our current lifetime as we're going to get. And I feel like it ticks a lot of boxes for people, but Starfield's one of them where like you, I enjoyed it. I wanted more out of it, and I thought some of the story points near the end were a bit bullshit to reset the whole game. But
the story I thought was actually interesting, and the way it resets the game is interesting. It's just like, I didn't want to lose all my progress or anything.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I spent a bit of time just messing around building my base on I picked up the moon around Earth, which is probably a terrible location to build your base, ultimately, but I developed building my own ship. It's like, I don't want to lose all this.
Yeah. And I'm sure they've remedied that as like an optional thing, and the story progresses. But
you didn't have to do the reset.
Yeah,
that was completely optional. But I was like, I don't want to go on to do that. But then a lot of people are saying that's where the content starts getting more interesting as you replay through the story. Things change.
I think giving players just like that ultimatum, as you said, after putting like 40, 50 hours into a character in a world, it's a very stark choice of like it's either all in or all out. And I don't think that plays with gamers very well.
But there's ways you can do it. I've always thought it's like, well, if you say you build a base on a planet,
moon base,
you should just be able to kind of like get the schematics, and you could take the schematics through.
Yeah,
so
like
when
save it
on your second playthrough, you can just go plonk that back down when you've got just plonk it back down as soon as you get back to that location.
Yeah, but we've seen a lot. We've seen like Shattered Space and other things, and I do think, as you said, Bethesda believe in this, and I think they've put enough into it, and it does have that kind of that following a little bit. Although its PlayStation 5 launch was a bit poor, I definitely suspect that there's a Switch 2 edition in the works to kind of try and capture some of that like 80 million odd Switches that are going to be out there in the wild. Plus, you've got your PlayStation base, which, as you said, I think Bethesda games kind of hit that status when they kind of they're evergreen titles. People are always picking up a Fallout, and you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. They've had so much success with Fallout TV series being a boon for the games in return. I could see a Starfield TV series on Amazon Prime in the coming years. I don't think we've had that officially announced, but I could definitely see them leaning into it because, as an IP goes, it is cool as shit. Like the font, the motif, the ideas behind it, the stylization, it works, and I could absolutely see that be transferred to a Fallout to an Amazon Prime show in the years to come.
Well, and with Settled Systems, wasn't that their attempt to actually kind of expand on what planets actually had stuff on them rather than just procedurally generated nothing?
Yeah,
because that was one of the criticisms. You land on the planet and go, "Why explore? There's nothing here."
Yeah. Agreed, absolutely agreed.
So you're lost, which is where Bethesda have always been at the best between Fallout and like Elder Scrolls is that exploration, uncovering that world. That I think Starfield, the nature of traveling from planet to planet, meant the planets had to be simpler, almost like uniform biomes. Well, or maybe 2 or 3 biomes within a planet. But there was never really that sense of need to explore them because it's not like because you knew the procedurally generated. Like the chance of something interesting that a cool story the developers have worked on being on this planet are very slim.
Yeah.
So let's get land here, get what I need, and get back to the interesting content.
Yeah, agreed. So Starfield lives on, which I'm happy about. I still need to pick it up on PS5. I might at this point kind of wait and see what Year 3 has in store before going back to it.
I've just made a note actually on my list of games that I want. Put Starfield back on there because we're going to a gaming market. If I see a decent copy for cheap enough, you never know. Like, you know what? I'll add that to my library. No intention to play it anytime soon, but it'd be nice to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I had it pre-ordered, I believe, and then I think as we got closer to launch, there was too many other things coming out, and I thought, you know what? I don't need to buy this at full price. I can hold off before sticking it on the shelf and then inevitably not touching it for like 2 years.
With the recent news with things like moving away from physical media, I am actually more inclined than ever to indulge in the second-hand market.
Yeah.
Go, you know what? Until you reverse this decision, I'd rather buy a game that doesn't leave money going back to PlayStation.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same. I've spent a lot of money on retro stuff the last week or two. So they double down on like their history and how many players, 17 million players, 1 billion hours to date. So it's clearly popular. I do think this is one of those titles that unfortunately the Game Pass model took the wind out of its sails a little bit because they've not been able to tout X amount of players.
By Game Pass.
Yeah, and I think Todd actually said it wasn't actually in their blog post, weirdly enough, but they said something like the Elder Scrolls have sold 65 million units across all games to date, which is huge.
I think with Starfield, because it was Game Pass initially, there'd be a lot of people who played it for a couple of hours and dropped out. I feel like with something like Starfield, it's active players that are more interesting than total players.
Yeah.
Game Pass is always going to skew your total player number.
Yeah, agreed.
Because people are going to try things but that's the advantage of Game Pass.
Yeah.
You can.
And then that model of unfortunately getting it out there, that didn't get it over to PlayStation 5 for over 2 years. And I do, if you, hand on heart, if you ask me, would Starfield have sold more copies at launch on PS5 if it launched simultaneously? I absolutely think so, because the hype for Starfield, if you remember, I paid the 40-odd quid to get even though it was coming on Game Pass, it might not have been 40 quid. I paid the early access to get it a week early. I think the hype at the time, before people knew like the story and maybe how buggy it still was, the hype for that brand and that new IP and that Bethesda kind of sway they brought, I think if this launched on PS5, it would have sold more there than it had on Xbox. Yeah. But they waited 2 years and it kind of soured it, and then everyone got the reviews in and the open world problem.
PlayStation was down to, I think, one, the delayed launch, so its reputation setting, and two, by the time a lot of people who really wanted to play it probably just picked up Game Pass.
Dabbled.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We do need to move on.
We do. Created by the players. So, I've read that bit. Sorry. The future of. Oh no, I haven't. Getting stuck in my own blog post. Created by the players, they go on to say, we've believed you from the beginning that our worlds not only belong to the people who make them, but also our people who play them. That's why we've long provided players with the tools to create their own experiences. Dating back to Morrowind construction set, this year marks another major milestone for creations with its expansion to Fallout 4, joining Skyrim and Starfield. We're proud to say creators have earned more than $10 million in royalties from their work. So they're doubling down on basically their ability to let mods make stuff and then license it, I guess, in a way, and take royalty off the back of it. It's the true meaning of being a content creator. Forget YouTube. This isn't where it's at. It's getting in a game, tweaking them, deving them, putting a giant Homer Simpson outfit on someone and having a laugh.
Monetize what people do anyway. But by Bethesda monetize, it's one of them. It was controversial when it came out, but by Bethesda monetizing it, it means the creators can also monetize it.
Yeah.
So in some ways it's win-win, but it means that now you have to pay for mods, where before they were basically free.
But you know what?
Yeah. I dabbled with the Morrowind creation kit back in the day.
Yeah, I think it's only fair that the people who make it have some kind of oversight into what happens in their game. So you don't get like random Nazi mods and all this other stuff going into it.
I'm not sure I agree, to be honest. I think once it's out...
You want Nazi modifications in your game?
No, well, not necessarily Nazi modifications, but I feel like...
Not necessarily.
I feel like we need to make an aggressive push back towards actual game ownership rather than licensing off a company to play your games.
But it's there.
But yeah.
And you can build it, do what you want, make your own basis, and make some money off it. Next up, the future of Fallout. This is a big one. They say Fallout is one of our biggest priorities today. Fallout 5 remains our long-range destination, and we've multiple Fallout projects in active development right now. Fallout 76 continues to be home to millions of players exploring Appalachia. Did we get that right? Appalachia. With nearly 70 free updates released to date. The journey is far from over. In fact, we have a major Fallout 76 expansion planned for next year, Raven Rock, a prequel to Fallout 3. Fallout 4, the most award-winning game in the franchise, just celebrated its 10-year anniversary and recently passed over 35 million copies sold, continuing to attract a new audience every year. We also know many players want to revisit the previous Fallout experiences. While we're not announcing any dates today, we've been working on remasters for both Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Fallout Shelter continues to be the most popular way to experience Fallout on the go, with more than 250 million players. That's more ahead for Fallout Shelter, including new seasons. Unscripted television project is also in the works at our partners at Amazon and Killer Films. Is that another spin-off series of Fallout called Fallout Shelter?
An unscripted Fallout Shelter television project.
Yeah, that's just tidily tucked away there in the blog post.
Unscripted though.
It's going to be like a Saturday Night Live.
Is this like a reality TV show?
Oh, maybe. People yeah, absolutely. I can see that now. Yeah, they're going to have to live and survive Big Brother style in a shelter.
That's going to be tragic. That's going to damage your reputation.
Should have just been a spin-off series of the main one. Anyway, we'll congratulate Killer Films and Amazon on 10 Emmy Award nominations for Season 2. Season 3 is already underway. And while we won't host a traditional Fallout Day broadcast this year, we're planning something special for Fallout's 30th anniversary in 2027, when Fallout Day will celebrate live in Washington, D.C. So the future of Fallout's here, Richie. I mean, a lot of things to pick out of there. I mean, them saying they're not going to celebrate Fallout Day, but then also announcing remasters and stuff does make me think, should this not have been the Fallout Day announcement? I know you said at the beginning this almost feels like Todd and them have had their arms twisted into make an announcement. Well, I feel like this should have been a bigger announcement.
Asher Sharma has been very hell-bent on doubling down on the core IP, Fallout and Elder Scrolls are clearly in their plans for that. So this is why I feel like they've told Howard has probably had to make a decision to make this announcement quickly before the announcement is made for him. I don't know why I've got this feeling, because Bethesda under ZeniMax have been quite independent of Xbox where they were.
Yeah.
Now Asher Sharma's rocking the boat. I feel like he's probably standing his ground a bit. It's like, if we make this announcement, but this is this is what she wants. Like, I feel like he probably wanted to keep Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas remasters under wraps, like formally, probably till next year's 30th anniversary. Then shadow drop them.
Yeah, it definitely feels like powers at play, and I think you're right in that Bethesda have managed to stay somewhat independent during the merger and acquisition, and I think it was even announced, wasn't it, so they'll run with their own teams and their own this, and they'll just report into Phil Spencer at the time. But
and after Obsidian announced they're working on a Fallout, Bethesda turned around and go, we're doing Fallout 3 ourselves, we're doing New Vegas ourselves, which actually means that the Obsidian one isn't going to be a New Vegas remaster. We're doing 5, and we're sporting Fallout 76. It's like, we are still the Fallout guys.
I mean,
I feel like this, like, read between the lines.
I mean, do we not think it's Obsidian doing it? Because the later in the blog post they say about working with Obsidian and partners. So surely they're on the New Vegas remaster. You would think,
but they say we have been working on remasters for both Fallout. I suppose it could be if they're like
just in partnership with it, because they're all on the same team, just the wider Microsoft. And yeah, I think this goes back to your point of just ultimately they're tightening the screw, and I think Ash has looked at this and she said it in her blog post as far as it goes of these are our biggest franchises, people beloved them, and you could argue that Fallout and on Elder Scrolls, and then you wouldn't even have to argue that much, Elder Scrolls and then Starfield as well, they're far more important to Microsoft than Gears and Halo are completely. And I think, all the stuff's great with the TV, although it feels like the TV's been a little bit rushed at the moment. They've gone 2 into 3. Clearly, Fallout 76 is something they've looked into, where everyone was done and forgot about that. But then because of the success of the TV series, they've been caught a little bit off guard and go like, shit, we need more content.
It's been ticking away, I think, slowly in the background because it's a
live service,
a live service game, and we're not involved in it. I think it feels like every year we do bring up, Fallout 76, there's something happening there. And then it quietly happens in the background when we're not paying attention. So
true.
But it does seem to be, I mean, I actually bought it on a PlayStation sale a few months back when I was playing Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But then I realised I needed PlayStation Plus and went, nah, I'm not going to play it yet.
Yeah, and this is why I always think it's
I have it in my library.
A bit ironic about Microsoft is they do the live service games infinitely better than PlayStation ever have, but they almost like fell into it. Like they bought Mojang and Minecraft, and that just happens to be one of the biggest live service games ever. They bought Rare, that give us Sea of Thieves, that happens to be one of the biggest live service ones. They now have Fallout 76, which because the TV show happens to be living seemingly beyond its borders and getting better year on year. And it's almost like they've got this library of live service games better than PlayStation could have ever hoped for. And they haven't really done it themselves. They've just kind of bought into it or fell into it. Call of Duty Warzone. I guess they've spent their money and now they have it.
76 is another example of a Bethesda game of, on launch, people didn't like it. It's like, why are you doing an online Fallout game? Where's the NPCs? This feels like lifeless. I know it's a barren wasteland, but still. And then they made some changes, and now it's actually it's a decent entry in the Fallout franchise if you want to get involved in that online experience.
Yeah.
Same with Elder Scrolls Online. I played the beta for that and I thought it was terrible. It's like, this is not an Elder Scrolls experience. I'm not interested in this.
Yeah.
But it's still going.
So how much then is this the Elder Scrolls problem where now they've confirmed them, announced them, and they're still years out? Like Fallout 5, seemingly, if we think of like Bethesda, we've got Starfield, and then they're all fully focused on Elder Scrolls right now, and then they're officially announcing the new Fallout game. Is this an Elder Scrolls life where we're seeing this Fallout for years to come, or is this now all the studios that have been kind of shuttered and reworked? Like we lamented id Software being ripped apart last week, and obviously them getting rid of loads of studios. is this Asher basically now reframing Bethesda as like, no, you are going to do the Activision thing where you're going to have multiple studios working on these one franchises and you're going to be in like a 3-year rotation, 4-year rotation, like all the Call of Duty studios, and we're going to start to get a new Fallout entry essentially every other year maybe because they see this as one of their biggest franchises they own?
I hope not, to be honest, because I think that dilutes what Fallout is. I feel like a new line Fallout game should be a one a generation, and that's what they should be hitting at. Like for Starfield, this next successor should be like a PS6 game. Elder Scrolls probably should be PS5, maybe on the border between as a cross generation experience.
Yeah.
And they should probably try and do something similar with the Fallout 5.
Yeah.
But that's in the future, like once a generation. The remasters. Jason Schreier talked about it, and he seems quite adamant that Fallout 3, at least, will be next year. I could see at the anniversary Fallout 3 being Shadow Drop with New Vegas coming later in the year.
Yeah.
But actually, I think they should probably do Fallout 3 next year and New Vegas the following year. Just to give some breathing room.
Yeah. It does feel, though, like I think Ash just came in and she just looks at the rest of the portfolio and go, well, hang on a minute. Again, not being a gamer, why does Call of Duty get this annual release that makes us millions? And like trying to explain, well, that's Call of Duty. And she goes, yeah, but look over here. Fallout and Elder Scrolls have sold way more copies than any other thing we own. It's way better than Halo, way better than Gears. Yeah. But does she know that? Does she know that? That's the thing.
She's in the position now. I don't think whether or not she knows it is an excuse. She needs to know this stuff.
Yeah,
she needs to understand the industry.
True.
That's the job. So,
true. But back to your point, the blog then goes on to say studio collaboration. The Wasteland continues to expand as we team up once again with our lifelong friends at Obsidian Entertainment. We're happy to confirm they're working on a new Fallout project. We'll have more to share in the future. We're also bringing our teams closer together across Bethesda, ZeniMax, while partners closely with game studios on the Elder Scrolls franchise, while continuing to deliver incredible experiences for the Elder Scrolls Online. Season 1, Return of the Thieves Guild, recently launched, and the team has planned more for the future. By aligning more directly across the franchise, we can create even better experiences for players. Bringing our teams closer together is helping us build stronger foundations for everything we want to create. They then go on to the Elder Scrolls and Beyond, saying the foundations extend beyond our teams to the technology, tools, and systems that will power the next generation of Bethesda RPGs. Our teams are now developing Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5 on Creation Engine 3, a shared technology platform we've been building since Starfield's launch. It allows our teams to support multiple projects simultaneously with new tools, rendering, and systems that define our games. Fallout 5 is currently in pre-production. Elder Scrolls 6 is our primary development focus today, with the majority of the team currently working on the next chapter in the franchise. With over 65 million copies sold, players are still exploring Skyrim 15 years later, but we know it's been a very long wait for the sequel. The next chapter is on the way, where we're planning to be. Loving how it looks and play it every day. The road ahead. Bethesda Game Studios, we're building for the future of Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and Starfield. We're investing in our technology, bringing teams closer together, supporting our live games, expanding into new forms of entertainment, and developing the next generation of Bethesda RPGs. We couldn't be more excited for what's ahead and wanted to share as much as we could today. We thank you enough for all the time you've given to us in these worlds, and we can't wait to continue them together. Bethesda Game Studios. So it's kind of like a bit of a summary. We've got new remaster, Fallout New Vegas remaster, Fallout 5, Elder Scrolls is on track, Starfield Year 3. Definitely, I think it feels like this is kind of the best news you could get out of all the restructuring. Where do you sit on Creation Engine 3, just quickly? Because for me, I don't want to say they should have moved to Unreal, because Bethesda had known for, like, at one point, it's almost like, you know, when Telltale should have moved engines, and they didn't, and it cost them.
I think the difference between Telltale and Bethesda is the size of the developer. I do not want to see everyone move to Unreal because if everyone's using the same engine, they're using the same tools, they make similar decisions. Having a company like Bethesda go, no, we are going to make our own engine, because by making our own engine, we can tailor these games to what we want them to be. I think it's the right move. But this comes back to, these games shouldn't be like every 3 or 4 years you shouldn't be getting a new Elder Scrolls or Fallout, because you need to factor in the development of the engine. I think every console generation you should be getting one of these games. That should be their target. So I want them to stay that. I don't want the market to be flooded with too many new Fallout games and new Elder Scrolls games, because it does like the Assassin's Creed thing where it feels like I wish you'd just take a bit longer and develop this a bit more. Even Black Flag's got some issues, like the remake, from what I've seen. It's full of bugs.
Well, I unfortunately don't think Ash is thinking that way. With the creation engine, though, I do think they need to spend some time polishing it, because if Elder Scrolls comes out and looks like Starfield in terms of some of the facial animations to the NPCs and the bugs still, it's like, I feel like Starfield was the one true launch that Bethesda got it in the neck a bit for being janky, and it didn't, that whole like, oh, it's just a bit of Bethesda jank, that's what the games are like. I don't think that got them a pass for Starfield as much as they were hoping for. And if that happens for Elder Scrolls and then Fallout 5, at some point, the general consensus of gamers are going to be like, this looks like shit for a game that should be brand new.
You've got used to and things like PlayStation first-party games full of motion capture, but the games are the size of an Elder Scrolls game. You can't really do that because there's just way too many characters in the game. So you need to find a balance where actually, it's not going full motion cap on every character.
Yeah.
And with how customizable your main character is, you can't really do full motion cap for that either.
Yeah.
So you need to find that balance.
They need to improve it, because I would argue that the Horizon games, albeit on like tech, Horizon Zero Dawn is probably 8-9-year-old at this point.
Yeah.
The cutscenes the dialogue scenes when you're talking to an NPC, their animations in that 8-9-year-old game look better than Starfield did.
They do.
So they need to crank some more juice out of it if they possibly can. But
they do. They need to improve it, but they can't go the full motion. I think Horizon is full motion.
I mean, yeah, there's less people, but just general NPC. It just needs polishing. The Bethesda games have a look about them, and I think it's about time they took that look and give it a bit of makeup and made it look a bit fresher.
The next Elder Scrolls needs to be one of them games where you go, holy shit, this is what's capable of the current generation.
Absolutely. What can Creation Engine do? And I guess they need that, just because
it's a lot of systems that play as well. So that makes things more complicated. Like an Elder Scrolls is infinitely more complicated than a Horizon game. Yeah.
But that's where hopefully bringing more people on board, sharing assets, they kind of get that unification and more people who know what they're doing with the tools, and they can squeeze more. And again, an engine is what you make it, right? You can take the Forza engine and make Fable. So there's nothing to say in the coding they can't tweak it and crank more out of it.
It's what the game's built around. It's a set of tools it's built around.
Absolutely.
The base code that is easy to build from.
Yeah. So speaking of base code, we've got some quickfire news stories for the week just to round up. Ratchet and Clank Ranger Rumble is still on track. Don't know if you remember this one, Richie. It's the mobile game that's coming out. Pre-registers have just opened. We don't really know what it is, but they say on the PlayStation blog that the pre-registers are there. This is the first new game that's been announced. It's a free-to-play multiplayer hero shooter that brings the iconic franchise to mobile in collaboration with PlayStation Studios and Insomniac. It looks a little bit, I think we described it as Overwatch meets Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I think that's literally what it means, a hero shooter. So
it's not the first mobile game. We've had Going Mobile and Clone Home from the JavaScript games back in the day on really old, around 2005 mobile phones. And we had Before the Nexus on Android and iOS in 2013, kind of before the Nexus game on PS3. But it's been a while. I thought I'd just get this out there because PlayStation, it's the first thing they've spoke about since that announcement of getting rid of physical discs properly, and they're getting absolute shit for it.
So the first thing they announced is let's bring out a mobile game. Yes, it's going to have season passes and purchasable shite.
Well, it was like a game stick that was supposed to be coming out with Marvel Talk on, and the comments on all the YouTube videos. I think there was a Wolverine trailer out this week that the comments are just laying into PlayStation or physical media still because they're not addressing it.
To take the flak.
Yeah, they're not addressing it. But I tell you what is getting addressed. That is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. It has plundered the gold with the franchise's best launch on Steam of any Assassin's Creed game, making vast sums of money. So it's tallied up over 2 million copies on launch day on Steam alone. That's obviously factoring if you've got to imagine couple similar copies on PlayStation. Also, I don't know, does it release on Switch too? Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced? Because Ubisoft have a lot of games out, but I don't know if
think it might.
You think it would do, but yeah. Basically, the market data company Alinea Analytics, who we reference quite a lot, said the game's pre-launch performance has now sold so many copies. It's about $35 million in revenue, with an extra $1 million on Steam from sheer DLC alone, which is you can buy like the skin pack for Edward Kenway when you launch it. It's kind of like a pre-order bonus. It's the biggest launch on Steam, as I said, which I guess is impressive, but bear in mind Assassin's Creed Shadows was the first game to release simultaneously on Steam, so the numbers are a little bit skewed that they haven't always released on Steam. They've had their Ubisoft Connect platform, which is still a thing, but remember that they're now opening to multiple platforms. So on one day alone, Resynced pulled in $22.4 million on Steam, which is 2.5 times what Shadows managed on launch day. They also said in 4 days sales, it sat at 35 million versus Shadows 22, roughly 1.5 times more. So it seems like Edward Kenway's Pirate Adventure is pulling it around massively. And I think Ubisoft kind of needed this win. And I think we almost anticipated it, right?
Yeah.
With Assassin's Creed.
This was an easy win because Black Flag's one of the most beloved in the franchise. Shadow, I think people are just generally down on Assassin's Creed. And then with Shadows, unfortunately, coming out the same year as Ghost of Tsushima, is like, I think a lot of people, and only like a month or two between them. I think a lot, I give it a large...
Yeah, it was like
I don't want to play Shadows, then later on play a better version of Shadows.
Yeah,
I will go back to play Shadows at some point, but I think though, from what I've seen of this game, it needed another couple of months in the oven.
Right.
To be perfectly honest, it has bugs in it. So, the classic Assassin's Creed, you climb up stuff and you just jump stuff backwards for no reason.
Is that not just part of their engine, like we've just lamented Bethesda about?
At this point, though, this has been going on for generations of titles. It's inexcusable. You need to fix this shit. But then the weather system's broken. It seems like 90% of the time it's pissing it down when you're out at sea.
Is that not just out at sea in general?
Yeah, but in the Caribbean, it should be more balanced in terms of there's a lot of complaints online. And my partner's complaint, get frustrated. Every time she sets out to sea, all of a sudden it starts raining.
Can't see shit.
Yeah, and then also the time of the day. You can just rest to change the time of day.
Yeah.
That's just completely broken. Doesn't work.
Right. I've not spent enough.
So there's some stuff in there from what I've seen that need fixing. But if they fix these things, brilliant game.
Yeah. If the success they go for, would Ubisoft be smart to do a Black Flag 2?
No, they should do Assassin's Creed 1.
No, I mean, yeah, outside of remaster, for their next entry, like if Shadows has gone, you kind of wonder, like, where else can they really go next? Like, they've done pretty much every continent, every important time frame.
I don't know, because I don't know how the story ends.
With Shadows?
Yeah.
I just mean in terms of with location, like Kenway and stuff, I just think, no, I mean in more just like, we've always said stick with Pirates Creed kind of thing, like Black Flag, like make it the new one.
I really want them to go back to the whole it's Assassins versus Templars thing and stop and turn them back into what I think one of the things this is getting praise for is it's a proper Assassin's Creed game again. It's not an action RPG.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are gravitating towards as well. Where it feels like with Origins kind of, I think, established what the modern action RPG is, and that's become to the franchise's detriment, to be honest, because every other company kind of copied that formula.
The Witcher formula.
It feels a bit watered down now. I want Assassin's Creed to go back to being an Assassin's game, heavier focus on stealth, which they did a bit in Shadows.
Mirage,
but Mirage did.
Yeah, it was average. Yeah, it was average.
Yeah, but. Like for a full-fledged game, like get rid of basically do something like Shadows, but get rid of Yasuke. And really focus. No, this is a stealth-focused game.
Yeah,
you can't run into a fort, pull out a sword, and kill everyone. That's not how the game works. Have the confidence to do that, but which is what Black Flag is. So.
Yeah, it's such a delicate balance, and I think thankfully they've got their win in terms of like their money.
Yeah,
but it's like where again, ironically, steering a big ship takes longer to turn around. So you'd like to think they've got stuff in the pipeline. The next Assassin's Creed game after Shadows is probably 2.5-3 years into development already as we speak. Yeah,
which is probably I reckon Hex will get announced properly this year.
Well, if they're smart, if they lean into like what Capcom do, Resident Evil. They could be onto something, taking it slightly different, making it more horror. Because I've personally loved the Assassin's Creed when they've gone totally like out there and you take some trippy drugs and you've got giant scorpions and Anubis warriors and ghosts and ghouls from like all these mythologies that they lean into. And it'd be cool if they just did something trippy with like witches and whatever.
Yeah, I
and...
think that might be Hex. You know where I want them to take Assassin's Creed? If I was in control of Ubisoft now, we're going to do Hex and we're going to have like these side projects where we're going to be a bit trippy, a bit weird with them. We're going to have our remakes as well. But we're going to start off, we're going to do a reboot of the franchise with Assassin's Creed 1.
Yeah.
And from there, we're going to go back to Origins, because Origins was meant to be the foundations of the Assassin's Order. But then they never really built on that with Odyssey and with Valhalla. So I want to continue that story. How did they to bridge the gap between Origins and Assassin's Creed 1?
Yeah.
But I'd start by remaking Assassin's Creed 1 and then start filling in the gaps.
Seems like a smart place to start.
Yeah.
Speaking of remaking 1, Richie, the rumour mill continues on Resident Evil 1 remake. Apparently, it entered pre-production last year. So thanks to Dusk Golem, who's a noted horror game insider, he's got a lot of stuff, especially around like Requiem and other ones, Code Veronica, on social media, correct, about the state and status of the projects. According to them, a remake of the original Resident Evil started early pre-production last year, or a year ago. Which means once they've finished development on Resident Evil Veronica, it should be the next one in the cycle. So we're expecting sometime in 2027 for Veronica. I'm kind of guessing springtime. The cadence in which Capcom have been able to get these titles out, we saw with like RE2 remake, then the new one, RE3 remake, then the new one, RE4 remake. We've kind of had a really good back and forth every other year. So we've got Resident Evil 1 remake. He also suggests that it might be a remake of Resident Evil 0, which entered production in 2022. So it kind of depends on which order Capcom would like to shuffle these things around. And now, Richie, just puts me back in that place of where do I start with these games? You know, I've got 2, 3, and 4, and I finished Requiem. I'm like, right, I'm fully into this franchise now. I'm a little bit desensitized to the horror of it all now. I feel like I just enjoy them more for what a game is. Like, you should have seen me at the end of Requiem. I was like, wasn't phased by the lickers or anything like that. I was just, yeah, come at me. But now, that's said and done, Veronica looks great.
Is Code Veronica a prequel?
I have no idea, really. So it's obviously came out in 2000. According to the YouTube blog, it says the title preserves the essence of the original game while introducing it doesn't say anything like that.
I'm reading from the Resident Evil fandom wiki. The game is set on the 27th to the 28th of December 1998, 3 months after the events of Resident Evil 2 and 3.
Right.
So it probably goes 0, 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica in terms of the timeline.
So I've still got a while to wait then.
Yeah.
Before I officially go.
Well, you've played 2 and 3, so you could go.
I've not played 3.
Onwards.
I've not played 3.
Oh.
I've played of what 2 we played together that Halloween.
Yeah.
Probably like 7, 8 years ago now. And
but you could go and play finish 2, go on to 3, go on to Code Veronica, and go back to 1. You know.
I mean, to be fair, now I've finished Requiem, which takes place in like a post-Raccoon City. Going back to 2, I've already ran through that police station so many times in Requiem. It'll be a bit like trippy going back, but yeah, I do think it's just get round to them and get it done so I can get this problem that isn't really a problem off my table. But they just all look so good in the RE engine. I kind of want to do them right, but Veronica looks great.
If they're doing 0 next, I think they should do a dual announcement of 1 as well.
Just kind of like prep people.
Get it out there. Like, I know sometimes it's not great to announce your games too long in advance, Bethesda, which is what they try not to do.
Yeah.
But something like that is just put the room at bed. It's like, we are making 0 next. After that, it will be 1. We don't have a time on it. It's in pre-production, but it could be in pre-production. It's in pre-production until we're near late development of 0. So just so you know, guys, it's coming. Just to stop asking.
Agreed. And then I guess to kind of go full circle with those stories and what you're saying about Bethesda is the RE engine being used across Capcom. That is a great example of using one engine within your company of studios to like Pragmata runs on it. All these Resident Evil games run it. Yeah, it looks phenomenal. And it's that thing, like they've been using this engine since the PS4. And every time you see it, they're able to squeeze that extra little bit of juice out of it where it just looks stunning every single time. It's a great decision.
Pragmata, it's one of them games where it just feels good to play. And that's the engine at work.
Yeah, absolutely doing the hard work. So yeah, Resident Evil 1-ish room at some point soon. We've got Veronica, probably Zero. I'm curious to see what Capcom do when they run out of remakes. Like, do we start getting like Resident Evil Survivor, the first-person spin-off, and other things, or do they just keep ticking over?
Keep moving forward instead of like bouncing between, like, you'll probably start seeing the mainline titles come out a bit of a faster pace.
To be fair, we've seen that with Requiem. They've merged that first and third person option where you can just choose between us. So the engine's clearly capable of switching between two angles. So they're kind of not limited to first or third now as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if Capcom have got a folder marked like Resident Evil storylines, and they've got the next few games like
probably
maybe even just like one paragraph that kind of goes, this is what happens. They haven't fully worked out the details.
Yeah.
But then while a team's like working on, say, a remake of Resident Evil 1, you don't need the story guys working on that.
Agreed.
Because the story's already written. So they can be working on the next game. There's ways you can use your studio with the different disciplines.
Yeah. And you know what else?
This is where I feel like Capcom are good, because that's why they're getting the games out at a good pace.
Yeah. And all things said and done, they still have Dino Crisis in the shadows, waiting to step out and get a remake and be like, oh shit, it's the RE engine but with dinosaurs.
And probably DLC for Pragmata, and probably
everything
like
else,
a sequel.
Well,
because that game deserves a sequel. I don't know the ending yet though. So
we'll get to it soon. One thing we might get to soon is Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic remake. Of course, this has been long in the wings, and apparently it's eyeing a 2028 release. If anyone cannot remember, it was originally being pulled together by Aspyr, as part of the Embracer Group, and then they got eyes on it and realized that actually the game was not looking great. This was an exclusivity partnership with PlayStation. Loads of people got eyes on it, said it wasn't happy. Embracer then took it from Aspyr, gave it over to Saber Interactive, who are the guys who've done like Warhammer Space Marine, a few other fantastic titles in between. So they're seemingly one of Embracer's most trusted studios. They've been given it to kind of finish, polish up, do whatever. And apparently it is still getting worked on. The company have had to reorganize, squeeze money, emphasize its role in their organization to create a 2028 launch. So we've got Space Marine, we've got John Wick, and then hopefully the Knights of the Old Republic remake at some point leading up to 2028. So I can still see this one being pushed. This tragic saga of the Star Wars tale continues, but yeah, time will tell. It's one of those things that
to reemerge, because this was one that's in development hell. It was like 7 years ago it was announced.
I don't think it was that long. I just think
6 years ago.
I mean, not far off then. It's just one of them where I never played it as a kid, so as a Star Wars fan, it's seemingly like one of the best ever. So having it remade, it's definitely one that I would want to experience and go full in, almost blind. Like, I'm aware of a few of the characters, but to see it in like modern glory and enjoy it. And this did say initially they were going to tweak the mechanics and modernize them a bit, as we've just praised Resident Evil for.
Yeah, so they need to, like old BioWare games, like.
Yeah,
I haven't played it, but I have played things of the same timeline, things like Dragon Age Origins, and God, that probably needs a full remake.
Yeah. And then I guess full circle irony as well is Knights of the Old Republic. If you remember, one of Obsidian's first game was Knights of the Old Republic 2. They took over from BioWare, and then they went and took over Fallout and did New Vegas. So like their entire legacy was made in sequels and two big existing franchises. And now here we are, full circle, with Knights of the Old Republic being remade yet again by someone different. Final quick stories, Richie, as we round out, because no doubt Tom is knocking at your door anytime soon. We've got our PlayStation Plus catalogue games additionally added. You've got some big ones. This comes for July. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, The Rise of Ronin, Power Rangers Reader's Rewind, Dying Light, and a couple of others in between, like Psyops the Mindgate Conspiracy from the PS2 era, which is a great little game, and a couple of other little ones sprinkled in between. Good couple of additions. I do wonder what happens.
Say it's a solid month.
Absolutely. I do wonder why Avatar gets front billing over Rise of the Ronin, considering that was a PlayStation exclusive. Do you think they would? But again, I guess Avatar's the bigger brand. I still need to go back and play Avatar since they released that third person patch.
I was talking about Rise of the Ronin like yesterday, and it was just a case of, well, I feel it's just one of them things where it came out, Ghost of Yota, and everyone's waiting for Ghost of Yota.
Yeah.
It didn't look bad,
mm-hmm.
but it was like, it didn't look good enough. It's like, yeah, this feels like, oddly enough, I don't know. It's just one of them games where it's like, it's probably good. It's probably fun if you try it, but it's missable.
Yeah, it's one of them for me. I think once they said it was like Souls-like-esque, I was like, I'll wait for Ghost of Yota and Shadows.
I don't think Rise of Ronin was it?
No, I don't think so. But this is again back to marketing, and every trailer kind of looks like a Dark Souls, Souls-like game now, and it's like, I don't want to die loads. But speaking of dying loads, that brings us on to the last story of the week, and in a bit of a shock twist, Amazon Prime's Kratos has seemingly been defeated, Richie. Of course, Kratos, the god of war, not known for being replaced or recast, but that's what Amazon Prime are doing. He's had a injury on set after shooting for a couple of months now of the fantasy drama series, and they've learned that Amazon MGM Studios, he's tore his bicep muscle, which is going to take a while to recover. After not only putting on 40 pounds of muscle for the role, Ryan Hurst, the actor who was cast in it, has been hurt during his duties, but instead of kind of like delaying the time frame, because it's going to take typically 4 to 6 months to recover to full strength, they're going to just recast him and then restart filming, presumably next year.
Yeah, it's 4 to 6 months for the injury to repair, but then you'll need several months to get back into the shape to suit Kratos. So it's probably a year's delay. But I'd say just delay.
I mean, surely he's done everything right.
It's also the schedules for other people and stuff. He'll be getting a payout, probably.
I mean, insurance will cover whatever they need to, but just in terms of his career opportunity, it's been ordered for 2 seasons. Filming began back in February. The rumour are they've got, or sources close to, they've got about 4 episodes fully completed at the time of it. Obviously, pre-production completion is different. But now they're all going to need to reshot with the same actors, and you've got your lead role, so that means you've got the co-lead, the lad who's playing Trace, Callum Vinson.
If you've got 4 episodes already, you just wait.
I mean...
But there again, it's money talks, and it's other actors' schedules and stuff. So other actors may have projects in 2027, so they might not be able to.
Do you know what my biggest knock-on worry, unfortunately, is? Is that the lad who plays a Trace, kids grow up fast, and my worry is by the time they get to shooting next year, is someone in casting going to look at it and go... He's a bit too big now. He's grew up a bit too much now. And like, imagine if his career suffers now because of an accidental injury, whatever. But I did go see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey last night, which he's in.
Any good?
Yeah, really good. Really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's as good as like Interstellar or blanking on all those other ones. Oppenheimer was the other one.
I think I might have just heard my door.
Do you want to go get Tom and I'll round out whatever this story is? You go get Tom and then come back and sit down together. But yeah, the cast, obviously, it's fully locked in there. You've got Odin, being played by Mandy Patinkin, I think. Ed Skrein as Balder, which is the guy from Deadpool. Max Parker as Heimdall. A lot of people who I don't really know. But yeah, you got to remember this main guy, unfortunately, he was... Ryan Hurst was also... Thor in the God of War game, and now he's been unfortunately put out to dry because he's had an injury, which seems really harsh. Of course, the most famous one you've got what am I talking about, man? Back to the Future, where they recast and totally replaced Marty McFly. But yeah, you know what? Money talks, and seemingly they think they go in. I do wonder, to a degree, how much this is just Amazon actually going, you know what? He's not doing that well in screen testing. He's not doing that well. Oh, look who it is. Hello, folks. There's Tom is waving, I guess, so for audio listeners. He's going to take over the rest of the podcast. Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
We're just talking about God of War, totally recasting Ryan Hurst because he's injured his arm.
Yeah.
What a shame. What a shame.
Absolutely. I mean, the guy looks fit for it, and obviously playing the role of Thor in Ragnarok, in God of War 2. It's kind of a shame, really, because he's obviously someone who's very invested in the franchise itself.
Just done. I was just saying there, do you think he's just maybe not done well on screen tests, and they've used it as an opportunity to just get rid?
Ooh, I think that's a little bit...
I mean, if you've got an easy out, right? Oh, we need to move along with production. We need to say sorry, mate. Sorry, I mean, you are cast to beat Kratos. I feel like any production team worth a salt be like, no, we're going to stick by our lead. He's the man we picked. It just seems very weak to not just go, we'll just let him recover. Like, imagine if that was Chris Hemsworth and Thor, and they just went, we'll just recast him as someone else, and the franchise was changed forever. Like this is his. This could be his future role. I mean, he's busy ruining The Witcher at the moment.
Is he, or is that one dead in the water
You see.
as well?
But that's all we've got time for on this week's show, because as I said, we're off to a retro gaming fest. I don't know if you want to hand it over to Richie as he just stands there awkwardly.
I mean,
off to the side. Is he gone?
Close out the show. So
all right, fair enough. He can close out the show. Brilliant. But yeah, so Tom, I guess we like to, as you get familiar with Richie's entire setup on a computer you've never sat at before.
I'm like looking up, down, around, left, right.
Where is everything? We like to end every show by looking back at this day in video game history. It's the 19th of July today. Anything on the list if Richie's got the tab open for you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've got it right here in front of me. This is like a peak Final Fantasy day. So back in 35 years ago, Final Fantasy IV came out on the Super Nintendo. And even 25 years ago, 10 years later, Final Fantasy X on the PlayStation 2. And if you've not played that one yet, that is the one you need to play.
Great stuff. I don't think there's anything for me from this one, actually. Oh, I guess, you know what? Shout out to 4 years ago, Stray on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 and PC. It didn't come to Xbox till later. But yeah, love that one. And me and Richie, again, if you're interested in Stray and Kitty Cat, we did a race competition to see who could get the entire story the fastest in under 2 hours. And we did like a side-by-side screen comparison race. It's probably one of the more unique videos up on the channel, so definitely go check that one out. But yeah, Tom, 20th of July, the next day, 43 years ago, 1983, the original Mario Bros. Came out on the arcade, in the arcade, not on the arcade. And then, unfortunately, Catwoman also came out in 2004. So it kind of brings the day down to a crashing halt. But as we do round out and we head off to a retro gaming market, are you excited? Anything you're particularly looking to pick up today?
No, I'm just out for shits and giggles, to be honest with you.
Shits and giggles. Do you think we can convince Richie to get his backwards compatible for PS3? Because he was on the fence last year. He looked at it, he thought about it. Or was it one of those Game Boys with the OLED screens? That people had fitted? I think he could be twisted, but we'll have to get out the cash and go see. But that's been it for this week's episode of the GamerGuild Podcast, with myself, Chris, Tom, and Richie joining us as we're out. It's a little bit shorter one, but we are busy. We're kind of on a time crunch here, but thank you for tuning in. Richie sits at the back like a proud parent watching on. But my name's been Chris.
I've been Tom.
And
I've been Richie.
We've been the GamerGuild Podcast. We'll see you next time, folks. And remember, play whatever makes you the happiest. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.